Good morning, everybody. I wanted to talk to you today about all the services that we had yesterday in remembrance of 9/11 and how that actually tends to work out for those who are grieving any kind of loss, particularly a traumatic loss that's compounded grief. You want to understand when you're helping someone through that process that final farewell doesn't end at the memorial. A final farewell tends to echo and echo and echo. And in fact, most people that grieve a loss will continue to experience that loss more intensely after those funeral services are over. So once they've had all the help and all the offers of lunches and meals during that week right after a loss, suddenly all the calls end. And all of the offers of food and help and assistance are over, and that person who's grieving finds themselves very alone, and at this point, they begin to grieve. They actually begin to feel the trauma of the loss because everything around them has suddenly become so dark and so quiet. So when you wonder why people who are continuing to experience loss a year later, or in the case of 9/11, we've seen people who have not stopped grieving their losses for the past 15 years. It's not a strange thing because that final farewell is not something that we can ever completely say is gone. We don't forget the people who have had a tremendous influence on our lives. Instead, we can learn to honor them. We can honor the place and the impact that they've made on our lives, but we don't stop remembering them. That final farewell, their memory, will echo forever after in our lives. So please be tender and understanding with those who are grieving, and have a little bit more insight from hearing this today, maybe with those who are still grieving after a long period of time. That's understandable, because if someone was important, they'll continue to be important. The impact they've had will continue to be a great impact on your lives. We don't recover from something that's taken from us. We can use the impact they've given us to build beautiful things around their memory. That's one way of beginning to heal. But healing does not mean forgetting. So don't expect people who have lost someone they loved to forget them. Don't expect them to just pick themselves up a month later and be fine. Don't wonder why they're suddenly more sad a few weeks after the loss than they were immediately after the loss. Most people don't even begin to grieve immediately after the loss. They're in a period of shock until all the funeral ceremonies are over. In fact, it's a little sad that we do hold funeral ceremonies so quickly after someone's gone that the people who are closest to them have not yet begun to accept the fact the person's gone in that short period of time. So I just wanted to offer you that today as the morning after all the memorials are over, and people who have gone through the re-experiencing of this loss again, maybe some people who've lost loved ones for other reasons are commiserating with that, and it's kind of pulling up their memories of those they've lost in war and in other traumatic battle type circumstances after this. Just be understanding if people seem a little quiet today, that they haven't just picked up back to where they were on Monday morning. You don't have to mention to them that, oh, you must be great. You don't have to mention that to them, but just be understanding around them and be willing to offer them a hug. You don't have to tell them things that are going to make them feel better. You don't have to pretend to them that it'll all be okay. You'll get over it. You don't have to say things like that to someone who's grieving. Instead, you can just let them know that you care. Let them know you're there for them, that you understand why they're sad, and that you don't blame them for being sad or being angry or feeling deprived. So that's what I'm leaving you with today, is understanding that those final farewells do echo and they come back, and helping you to be equipped to respond better to the people around you. So I hope that you have a great Monday and that the rest of your week will shine brighter, whether it's in your comforting others or in you feeling that you're understood.